Hey guys, what's going on? It's been a little while since I did a YouTube video, but we decided that we're gonna start doing them a little bit again. I've been meaning to do this video for a little while now and finally got some time. Really, I just basically took the time to do it and decided to stop riding for a minute, but we're up Bloomington Lake in Bloomington, Idaho, and today we are about radios. So here we've got 3 different radios. I know that BCA has a newer radio on the market, but this is the BCA 2.0 here. We've got the Baofeng radio, and then we have the Oxbow radio, as you can hear. So we're going to talk about these, so let's dive into them. Yeah, what's up?
Basically, if you take the big peak towards Montpelier and draw a line straight towards the big open hillside, right in the center of it.
63 high, coming in on target. You need to move a little faster than that, son. Seat is light.
All right, so let's talk about these radios here just a little bit. So we'll start off with the Baofeng. This is the one that I actually started out with. As you can see, it's got a lot of different numbers on it. To be honest, it's not the most user-friendly radio. You take and turn it on here, and you've got multiple numbers on the screen. You have all these different digits down below. If you learn how to use it, it's pretty easy. But you need to have kind of a cheat sheet to communicate with the other radios. So, okay, so let's talk about this Baofeng a little bit. So the Baofeng is the radio that I started out with, so that's kind of why I'm starting out with it. It's not overly user friendly. Once you kind of learn how to use it, then it's not too bad, but it also still has way more functions, as you can see, with all these number buttons and stuff, than what I know about using it. So I'm not going to dive into it too much. But it's been a really good radio. You have to program. You need to have a cheat sheet with you, and so that you can program, because this you actually program the frequency into, whereas like the Oxbow or the BCA radio, you just take and put the channel into and the sub channel, and then it's already got the frequencies programmed into those channels and sub channels. So instead of doing a frequency like this, as you can see here, you do like channel 7, privacy code or sub channel, whatever you want to call it, 12. So it's not overly user friendly. It's got a little light on the top. I'm not going to dive into it because there's a lot of different videos on this radio in particular. But for snowmobiling, the downfalls to it are this knob right here. When it's in your backpack, this knob will end up getting messed with, or can get messed with pretty easily, and that's your volume and power. So you don't want to. That's one of the downsides to it, but you can lock the radio so that a majority of these numbers and buttons don't work. I think one of these buttons, I mean, this is your push to talk, so it's obviously going to work. And then one of these, the Moni or the call button, or the monitor, whatever you want to call that, those are still going to work. You have on this side, you take and pop this open, you take and plug your radio shoulder mic on in there. And so let's talk about the shoulder mics. There are multiple different shoulder mics that you can get, all ranging from like $7 up to, I don't even know, but I know that there's at least $40 ones. I think Ride 208 had a Kenwood radio that was specifically made for the Baofeng radios, and it's supposed to be more made for like snowmobiling and winter sports and stuff like that. So it's going to be a little bit better and higher quality being a Kenwood than what any of these other ones were. I've been able to use them for just the cheap ones. I think I had a $7 one for a couple seasons, and now it's starting to screw up. And these are kind of hit or miss. You can get ones that say that they're higher quality, waterproof, all that stuff, but sometimes they work really well and other times they don't. And so they're kind of hit or miss. So that's kind of the downside to that. Let's talk about the BCA a little bit right here. I haven't messed with the BCA too much, but the BCA, you can take and turn it on. The nice thing about it is this sits in your backpack, and then you just have your shoulder mic, and it's kind of a smart shoulder mic, so it'll actually control some of the functionality of the radio. You take and program this A, B, C, D, E, and F. You take and program those on the radio itself for, like, A is channel 1, sub channel 3 or something, and then B would be channel 1, sub channel 5, or you can do any combination of all the different channels and sub channels that you want, and you can take and set them for this A, B, C, D, E, or F. So if you have a few channels that you use typically that you know you're going to use multiple times in the future, then you're going to take and program those into these. And then when you have this in your backpack, you don't even have to mess with the radio at all, and then you can just take and turn the radio on with this dial right here. And this is your volume as well. You can see it turned on right there. We're on 717, and yeah, so you can take and turn this. Let's see if I can show you. So it's not showing on here. There we go. We must have had that same one programmed for multiple channels. I haven't used it really forever. So anyways, that'll take and change you through your preset sub channels that you've saved. So it's really kind of a neat feature that you don't have to pull this out. You can take and lock it. As you can see, there's a little lock icon on here. You can take and lock and unlock it on here. So really, once you've set your 5, if you're riding with the same group over and over, you can take and just throw this in your backpack, have this clipped on your shoulder strap, and then take and adjust everything from the shoulder mic itself, unless you go off of those 5 channels. So BCA, I mean, they've been around for a while as far as these radios. They can't be horrible radios, because so many people used them, and they were pretty common in the industry until people started using more of the Baofengs, just because of how cheap they were. These are like $30 or $40. You can get them cheaper now. This is just the 5-watt. You're technically supposed to have a license to use this, so keep that in mind. And then no license or anything to be able to use the BCAs, and they're pretty dang good for backcountry use. I mean, hence backcountry access. So you can get little frog skin covers for the mic here, but that kind of is a basic rundown on those different radios. And then let's talk about the Oxbow. The Oxbow has been my favorite. It's kind of the most versatile. I really like that it just takes and mounts on your shoulder strap. You have full control of the radio. You take and just pop it off, and got some guys right here. But you just take and it just mounts on GoPro mounts. So this is just a quick clip. It just takes and snaps on my mount on my shoulder. Pretty easy to use, pretty user friendly. You just have a power on button. You can take and lock it, your volume up and down, your plus and minus for your channels and sub channels, as well as everything else. So it's a pretty simple, straightforward radio to use, and that's part of why I like it. It's got really clear call reception, as you can tell right there, and pretty good range as well. So I really like this radio. There's a lot of features that it's got. I mean, it's got a frog skin cover that they come with now. They have multiple different ones, the Renegade 2.0, the Bluetooth, all that stuff. And not to mention, they also have a Bluetooth button that can go on your handlebar. So Oxbow's really leading the way as far as backcountry radios go. BCA just came out with kind of an all-in-one unit like the Oxbow, or similar to it, so kind of keep that in mind, that you do have that other option. But yeah, cost, ease of use, clarity, all those different things are the reason why I really like the Oxbow. So let's check it here.
What's going on, guys? Today we are up here on the mountain in beautiful Bloomington. You can see it is a beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky, beautiful snow. And what we're doing today is comparing radios. Something that I wanted to touch on real quick before we get started is the ease of use. The whole reason I even switched from the Baofeng to the Oxbow radio was simply for the fact that it is easier to use. Being able to change channels, change privacy codes, compared to the Baofeng one was just night and day difference. I wanted something that my wife and I could use simply by just saying, all right, we're going to go to channel 17, privacy code 12, or whatever the channel may be. And the other thing that I really like about the Oxbow one is that it is super loud. Most times you can hear it when you are riding your sled. It's got a very loud volume. As I mentioned earlier, the battery life on it is next to none. It lasts way longer than my Baofeng one. And again, just the ease of use. It is so easy to use, so simple, so straightforward, and the customer service from Oxbow is just, it's next to none. Outstanding, guys.
We'll do radio to radio, so Oxbow to Baofeng, and you know, from yours, Baofeng to Baofeng, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense, I think.
All right, so I think that's good enough for the Oxbow, really, because I mean, we've been talking on it, and I've gotten some of the different ones, the different listening to you multiple times.
I can tell right off the bat from talking on the BCA one just a minute ago that the Oxbow one, it's super easy to push the button, and there's a definitive click, like you know whether it's pushed down completely or not, rather than just kind of guessing.
Yeah, that is really nice. The Baofeng is similar to that as well. It's got a nice little button, but the downside to the Baofeng is if you don't have a shoulder mic, it is a little bit of a pain. I mean, the little shoulder clip thing that they have on here that you can put on here isn't the most ideal, and so it's not going to stay on super good. So that's where the Oxbow, having that GoPro mount in there to clip it in there, is a nice thing, or even the BC Link having their shoulder mic takes and clips in a lot better, and you can rotate it around versus the Baofeng. So you wouldn't really want to put the Baofeng on your shoulder, really, especially with the big long antenna. The other ones are kind of nice that they have short antennas, but also keep in mind that the shorter antennas is going to kind of limit the range a little bit. So that's one place where the Baofeng really shines, is it has a higher transmission. It transmits in a higher wattage, or you can, if you, that's a downside to it. It does have the transmit overload. You can only transmit so long. But yeah, the antenna is a nice thing for more range. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I just got it on. I was just explaining to him the BC Link radio is going to be pretty similar to the Baofeng as far as turning it on with that knob. It's going to be your on and off and your volume, which is easy and convenient, but we have seen people hit that knob on their shoulder or bump it in the backpack to where it turns their volume all the way down to where they can't hear anymore.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. So one thing I noticed while you were talking is there's a little bit of background fuzz that gets transmitted every time you use that radio, whether it's been on you transmitting to my Baofeng or you transmitting to my Oxbow. There's just a little bit of background fuzz with a kind of slight high-pitched squeal. I don't know if they're going to be able to hear it on the video or not, but it is there. And not that it's a big deal, I can still hear you nice and clear, but it is something that's there. And as far as clarity and communication goes, I feel like it's not quite as crisp and clear as what the other ones are.
No, I would have to agree with you. Like you said, it is a good radio. It is crisp and clear, but there is just a tiny little background fuzz that, I mean, if you start getting at a further distance to where that fuzz just, I feel like will just kind of keep getting louder and louder until you can't hear them anymore. It's just kind of annoying that it's there to begin with, no matter how close you are.
Yeah, so one thing that was crazy that I was just doing, I was trying to move the actual radio closer to my phone, and as I moved it closer to my phone, then it enhanced that noise and actually made it worse and kind of started making a clicking noise. So it is picking up some interference. My radio is, whether it's from my phone or not, but it seems to be when that radio is transmitting versus any of the others, because I've had these ones somewhat the same distance and none of the others have picked that fuzz up. So I don't know, that's kind of weird, pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, no copy. I think it's important for us. I mean, something that we ought to point out is, I mean, all these radios have their places that they're going to shine. All of them do, a fairly good job for the most part, as far as everything an all-around radio goes. But just like anything in this world, you're going to come across some lemons here and there. You may get a bad shoulder mic, you may get a bad radio. At the end of the day, it's just going to come down to which company is willing to support us as snowmobilers, I feel like, and which company is going to stand behind their product at the end of the day the best.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that each of the radios are good. I mean, having some sort of a communication device with you while you're on the mountain is definitely going to be key. So I think that any of these are going to be really good radios. There's not going to be one that's better or that's going to be worse than having nothing. I mean, something is definitely going to be better than nothing. And from what I'm kind of seeing here, I mean, cost for cost, the Baofeng is going to be the cheapest. You have to buy and source the shoulder mic and hope that you get a good one. But Oxbow seems to be the best as far as clarity. It's nice and loud. It's louder than all the other ones from what I'm seeing, and it's just transmitting super, super well. But each of these other two radios are definitely good radios also. Battery life is going to be something that's key, and the Oxbow radio has an extremely long battery and it does super well in the cold environment. The Baofeng, we've had experience with that and it seems to last a couple rides, but I would say the Oxbow still has a stronger battery life than that. And the BCA ones, I haven't used them enough to know how long their battery life is. From our experience and from people that we've talked to that have used the BCA radio, the Oxbow still has a much longer battery life. So again, something is better than nothing. All of these are good radios, but Oxbow, I mean, it clearly to me, Oxbow is definitely the one that I'm going to go with for all the different things and some of the features. Plus, they're trying to pave the way for the snowmobile industry as far as radio communication goes, and that in and of itself is pretty important to me. All right, so my fingers are getting pretty cold, but as you can see, all of them are great radios, and I mean, I have each one of them. I'm sticking with the Oxbow. It's been reliable for me. They've been extremely well with customer support. Their battery life is good. They've got that handlebar button. You can take and put the stereo headset from a different manufacturer in your helmet, and then take and Bluetooth that button to your radio, to that headset, and be able to communicate just on the fly while you're riding, which is a pretty cool thing, so that you don't end up missing any transmission from somebody if somebody needs help. So I really feel like backcountry communication is extremely important, and so yeah, get a radio. It doesn't matter what brand it is. My opinion and experience is definitely with the Oxbow radio. I really, really like this radio. I love that it's a standalone radio. They have different mounts that you can put on, so I just got this new angled one for my Climb Avi vest, and you just take and just line it up with the mounts. It's kind of hard to see, but it just takes and clips in there. You make sure it's clipped and take and pull it. I take and wrap this and wrap it around my buckle right here, so that if it popped off for some reason, then it's going to be there. But yeah, I really like this radio. Super happy with it. Thanks, Oxbow. You did an amazing job creating this radio. I can't wait to see what you guys come out with in the future. So if you guys like the video, like and subscribe, share it with your friends. If you have any questions, hit me up, and safe riding.